Hi, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Vaughn.
Welcome to our channel,
Wildwood Off-Grid Alaska.
Join us as we journey from corporate America to remote Alaska. I know everybody at some point in time has hit a BS limit in their life. That time for us is now. The old adage, make more, spend more, has definitely been true in my life, and it hasn't been making us any happier. You can accumulate all the stuff in the world, but material possessions, what does it get you? Maybe some debt. I mean, we've had a lot of fun, no doubt.
A lot of that.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Anyways,
we've had fun.
it was time. If it's not making you happier, then why? Why continue the cycle? So we decided to get off that hamster wheel and change our life. Start living life for real. Not living it on the weekends, working 5 days a week, and 2 days you might have off, which one of those days you're prepping to go to work the next day.
And you're tired.
And you're just not, you're not living real life. So we're changing that cycle, and we're going to live a real life. Spend more time in nature.
We want more from life, but it's not material life. We want more real life.
I would encourage anybody who's looking to make a change in their life to do it. It's never too late. I remember growing up in Montana and thinking I was always going to end up living in a cabin in the woods with my dog. Now I'm a lot older. I got married. I have 2 dogs, but I'm building that cabin in the woods.
For me, being born and raised in Alaska, I really love the outdoors, hiking, camping. So living off grid really speaks to me. I had my kids when I was really young, so I had to start into the workforce really early, and I've been working for a long time, and now that I'm almost 50, I'm really ready for something different, and going off grid takes a lot of courage. So I'm finally ready at this point in my life to step out there and take the plunge and move to a more simpler life. There's kind of a funny story when I was working one day and I went outside. It was sunny and beautiful, and I went downstairs out of my skyscraper that I work in, and I was sitting outside watching the wind and blow the trees a little bit, and I didn't want to go back inside for my break, so I did. And when I got back to my desk, there was a horse that was on a screensaver that showed up on my computer, and I was sitting there looking at it, and it looked like the eye was looking right at me, and when I looked at it, it felt like it was mocking me and was like, I'm living a more authentic life than you are. And so at that point I was like, man, I really need to make a change. And so here we are, making a change.
For me, I was kind of blessed in life. I joined the Coast Guard at the age of 20, and I was able to follow that through and retire in the fall of 2017. That make this transition a lot less stressful, having some kind of money coming in. After I retired, I tried to get Vaughn to go off grid in Prince of Wales Island back in 2017, but at the time she didn't see it being a sustainable situation, so we never went off grid.
And I was a little scared to do it.
Yeah, it was my military retirement doesn't transition to her if I die, and she thinks I'm a little prone to accidents, so she wanted a little more stability for herself. We've changed that plan over and over and over again because we've always been seeking something better, something more in life. So we've lived in Alaska almost most of our lives. Vaughn was born and raised in Alaska, in southeast Alaska, in a small town called Wrangell. And I moved up here with the Coast Guard. Being from Montana, I figured the only place that I would like more than Montana was Alaska. So when I actually joined up, I asked the recruiter if I go to Alaska. I got a guaranteed spot, and I first met Alaska in Kodiak, and I spent a few years there, and then I've kind of moved all over Alaska. But the thing about Alaska is it lends itself to an off-grid lifestyle. It's opportunities, just everything that it offers up here. I personally believe through a little bit of hard work that an off-grid lifestyle is going to be simple and still achievable. Is it cheap? No. Alaska is not cheap to live, but I think it's still attainable. I hunt, I fish. I've done that my whole life. I love it. It's a passion of mine. And here in Alaska, it's easy to provide, or I wouldn't say easy, but it's possible to provide for yourself through those means. I haven't bought meat at a grocery store in at least 15 years. I've been, lucky or fortunate to be able to go out and harvest animals and fish for fresh, some of the best seafood you can have.
Yummy.
And so we'll continue to do that, and along with that, start growing our own vegetables. We've been wanting to grow our own vegetables, grow a garden. The last garden we had, I think, was in Oregon.
Yeah, we have been lucky that here in the valley in Alaska, there's an abundance of locally grown food. So sometimes we go to the market, to the local markets, and pick up food that way. But sometimes we just have to get it from the grocery store.
Having access to a farmer's market here, which everywhere else we've lived in Alaska, we haven't had farmers markets. So having access to a farmer's market has been nice, but it's still of value to start growing our own vegetables. We're going to get into chickens. We're going to start raising some animals. I don't want to be strapped down to a farm per se. I think that lends itself to not giving us the freedom that we want. We want to be able to, go see the grandkids when we want to. We want to be able to, if I'm going hunting for 10 days, I don't want to have to worry about being at home feeding animals. I think that we'll find a balance. Right now, we're going to start small and kind of progress up. Let's get down to the reason we're here on the videos. What is our plan? So our plan is we purchased 5 acres in Tok, Alaska in 2017. We love mainland Alaska. There's just something about interior Alaska that is absolutely beautiful. It's vast. It's just
wide open.
Few people. It's beautiful. Just things you don't see in other places. So with us going up there and hunting, we dropped down into town, a small town. Tok is pretty small. I think it's only about 1,200 people at tops.
Something like that.
And we went to the local grocery store and we looked at the bulletin board. It seems like every grocery store has a bulletin board on the side.
Especially in Alaska.
Yeah, especially here. So we looked at the bulletin board and we saw a piece of land that looked pretty cool. We were like, wow, we should go look at it. So within about 15 minutes, we made a call, made an offer on the land. And so we bought it. The beautiful thing about places in Alaska that you don't really get in a lot of other areas is you can still buy land in Alaska and own it outright. There's areas here that have no property taxes. And so we ended up buying it outright, 5 acres. It's all buildable. It's all good dry land, which you have to be concerned about here in Alaska. You don't just buy a chunk of land here in Alaska. There's a lot of wetland, a lot of marsh, a lot of bad ground that you can't build on, but not in this case. We did go and look at it before we opted to put an offer in. It was, quick, but that's our plan, is to move over to Tok and build our homestead. Yep. It's going to be out of pocket, no debt, no taxes, and when we own it outright, it's done. We'll own it forever. So
for now, we're living in Wasilla, and
high property taxes, too big of a house. We're living.
It's beautiful though.
Living the consumer lifestyle, the expected lifestyle that you're expected to live, working good jobs, getting your retirement, having bills, buying things, consuming. And the consumerist mentality, what we call the hamster wheel. We've been itching to get off the hamster wheel and do something just more. We've always strove to do more in our life, but
we realize it's like not going to be an overnight thing. It's going to take our planning and a couple years before we actually get to move over there, because Ryan actually has to build a house all by himself.
Yeah, if we're going to do this out of pocket, I have to build it. It's going to be, of course I'm going to get some help as far as, I think we're going to have someone drill a well, we're going to have someone pour the foundation. I don't want to deal with foundation work, but I can frame it and do everything else. So we own a duplex here in the valley, and so the plan is, while Vaughn's working, I'm going to get this house ready to sell. We're going to put this on the market in 2021 spring, And once we sell this house, or sometime around that same time, we're going to move over to the duplex, and half the duplex will be rented out, and half the duplex we will live in, which in turn will basically take our mortgage down to nothing. And we'll just pocket as much money as we possibly can. Vaughn's going to continue working another year after that, while I am in Tok. I'll be in Tok, building the house and getting things livable. So
it's going to be a fun adventure.
Yeah.
We're excited about it.
So really, this channel is going to be the journey from now, where we've kind of made these decisions. I mean, we just talked about this stuff and really made a good plan here in the last month, not even month. This channel is just going to follow that process, we're going to film it, we're going to document it, and we kind of decided to document this because we have 4 grandkids now, and they don't live with us in Alaska, unfortunately, but we want them to see their grandparents and be able to see this adventure that we do and see what Alaska has to offer, and you guys come along with us. We're going to be doing cabin builds, we're going to be doing chickens, maybe some pigs,
yeah.
Hunting, fishing, just living the Alaskan lifestyle. Follow along, subscribe if you'd like to, follow us on Facebook, and remember, it's Wildwood Off-Grid Alaska.
I think it's going to be a fun journey. I hope you guys all join us.
All right, thanks for watching. Bye.